I faced a problem I'm sure almost all of you have encountered at some point. I was sitting there in Vienna, preparing for my exams, questioning my life choices, because that always happens when you're a student. And all of a sudden I realized that I was not in a place that I wanted to be. Not physically or mentally. See, the problem was that alongside with my preparations, I looked to the screen. I was watching protests unfold back home in Georgia. I was watching these horrible videos and pictures, not only because I was nervous about Georgia's political situation, of course I was, I still am, but mainly, most importantly, because I was terrified. I was absolutely scared that in those videos I would find a familiar face. A face of my friend, of my family member that would get tortured, beaten, arrested. And the worst part is that I did. So imagine this. You're sitting there abroad, far from your home, safe and sound, free from every single worry in the world. And then you are forced to watch videos where your friends, where your peers are fighting. They are fighting for what is yours, your fundamental rights. And all you can do now, while they're risking their lives, risking to be arrested, risking to be tortured, is just sit there and prepare for your exams. That day, at that very moment, I asked myself a question. A question that I will share with you in a second. A question that changed my perspective. Where did it all go wrong? To answer this question, I have to tell you a story. Almost a year ago now, I had to move to Vienna to pursue my studies. And as I explored different topics such as economy, philosophy, and politics, and life itself, I often found myself reflecting on the life choices that led me there. Don't get me wrong, I love the city, I love the people, and it has been one of the most interesting journeys that I've ever experienced. But I still couldn't shake that feeling that there was something missing. That deep sense of belonging that I felt back in Georgia. But then it hit me. The very reason I had to leave home, I had to leave my country, my family, my friends, was because of one fundamental issue. The lack of freedom. But do not mistake my decision as some kind of escape or some kind of search for comfort in another country. No. I made that decision to work hard, to study, and to equip myself with skills and knowledge necessary to go back home and actually make a change. And I'm not alone in this. Most of my friends back from Georgia are also studying abroad. But there's one vital difference. For most of them, there is no reason whatsoever to return. You remember what I told you. Imagine being in an atmosphere of fear, constant fear that your loved ones are getting actually tortured. Can you blame them? Well, I can't. So we go back to our original question. Where did it all go wrong? See, what bothers me the most is this though. I know what liberty tastes like. I know what it feels like to actually stand there and speak freely without any sense of fear, like I'm doing right now. I know what it feels like to live in a society where you're free to choose where to live, what to study, what to believe. And yet, my little brother is growing up in a society where his friends, his family members, are actually under threat of getting arrested, getting harmed, getting even tortured by the very people we gave authority to. That is exactly why we had to live. That is exactly why we return again to our original question. Where did it all go wrong? The answer is simple. The answer is that we did not fight hard enough. When we had to, we did not fight hard enough. We did not stand up to our government. We did not stand up to our family, friends, parents, grandparents, when we had to, when they took oppression as normal. And because of that, step by step, little by little, we showed our government that they could take our fundamental rights away. We showed them that their slow, but also steady shift from democracy to authoritarianism would go unchallenged. And they took that chance. Our very own ignorance, our very own beliefs that liberty, that freedom was something that could never be taken away, cost us dearly. It has cost us exactly that. It has cost us freedom, and with our freedom, it is costing us our opportunities. The very opportunities that should exist in Georgia but no longer do. Exactly that's the reason why me and my friends are leaving, why we go abroad to study. That is exactly why when I talk to my friends about returning to Georgia, there is no hope reflected in their eyes. But after this, I'll tell you something. It is not too late to start fighting for your freedom. See, across the world, more and more people are just now realizing that freedom is nothing that is given by the authority. It's not a right that is given by those in power. It is our fundamental rights. So freedom is the one we should fight for. Not only Georgians, but also Slovaks, Serbians, other people of other continents and countries are now realizing the true value of freedom. They are just now realizing that it is under threat. And because of that realization, we have something we lacked before. We have the will, we have the power, we have the resistance to fight back what is ours. Fight back for our freedom. And now, as I stand here before you talking about this problem, I am extremely scared. I am extremely terrified that back home, right now, my loved ones, my family members, the ones that I care about the most, are getting arrested or worse. They are getting harmed. They are getting tortured. And they are getting tortured not by anyone. They are getting tortured by the people that should keep us safe. And now, as we answered the first question, it is no less important to answer another one. Personally, I believe that realizing the past mistake is not enough. You should also look for a way forward. You should ask yourself questions to find the solution. So I ask myself this, and I ask all of you to think about this question. Where do I want to go from here? Personally, I want to go back to Georgia. I want to go back home and join the fight for my freedom. Join the fight with my friends. Join the fight to get back what is mine. And I've talked so much, and I searched so much information just to ask you for one thing and one thing only. And it's not easy. I want to ask you guys, all of you, to fight for your freedom. Never stop fighting for your freedom. Even if it's hard. Even if you feel tired. Especially when you feel tired, do not stop fighting for your freedom. Never let anyone take what's yours. Take your fundamental rights. Because we did. And now we have to fight twice as hard. Now, I know that when you try, when you think that your hope is gone, when you think that your freedom is gone, you might feel weak. You might feel like there is nothing you can do to make an actual change. Because I know I did. That's how I felt. I thought that every single hope was gone. I thought the freedom was gone. But I started to look for a way forward. First, I found Students for Liberty, which gave me a voice to speak out. Then, I went abroad to study, to equip myself with necessary education. And now I'm speaking before all of you about the problem I want to resolve the most. And if just a few of you after this think about my speech and actually start doing a little more for freedom, I'll be proud to say that I made a difference. A little one, but still, that's a start. So, if you come from a country, even if you come from a country which has lost all its freedom, which has lost all its hope, start the fight to get it back. Your voice has much more power than you might think. Find the people with similar ideas. Discuss those ideas. Try to solve the problems that you think are present. Because here's the one thing. When the freedom is taken, it must be taken back. Fighting for freedom starts with all of us, individually and together. And here's the thing about freedom. Once it's taken, it is never freely given back. Never. It must be taken back. Thank you.